Lyra Valkyria had exactly the kind of night that should change a WWE career. She defeated Bayley in a violent, emotional fight, survived a badly bloodied nose, and walked away looking more dangerous than ever. Then, less than 48 hours later, Monday Night Raw treated that moment like it barely happened. And that may have been WWE's biggest mistake of the entire show. At Saturday night's main event, Lyra did more than pick up another victory. She defeated the woman who had spent months serving as her friend, partner, and mentor. Their relationship had already collapsed before the match. Lyra had attacked Bayley and rejected the idea that she still needed the role model standing beside her. That made their match an important test. If Lyra lost, her transformation could look like frustration without results. If she won, WWE would have a chance to establish a completely different version of her character. Lyra won. The match became even more memorable when an elbow from Bayley left Lyra's nose badly bloodied. Instead of slowing her down, the injury became part of the story. Lyra looked increasingly aggressive, trapped Bayley in a submission, and secured the biggest victory of this new chapter. She also continued the attack after the match. That final decision mattered. WWE was telling viewers that this was not a misunderstanding between former friends. Lyra had crossed the line deliberately. She was finished seeking Bayley's approval and was prepared to build her future at Bayley's expense. Everything about the presentation suggested that Raw would feature the fallout. Lyra needed a live microphone. She needed to explain what defeating Bayley meant to her, why she attacked her again, and who she planned to target next. Instead, Raw did not feature a single women's match. Liv Morgan and Io Sky appeared during a men's storyline involving Joe Hendry and Dominic Mysterio, but the women's division did not receive a dedicated televised match. Sol Ruca, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez were also missing from the main American broadcast. Most importantly, Lyra's follow-up was pushed into a commercial break segment. During that segment, Women's Intercontinental Champion Sol Ruca was being interviewed when Lyra confronted her. Lyra bragged about removing Bayley from her path and shifted her attention towards Sol. That should have been a major televised development. Lyra had just defeated one of WWE's most accomplished women, and now she was standing across from a champion. In one segment, WWE had the foundation for Lyra's next rivalry and a logical explanation for why her victory over Bayley mattered. But American viewers watching Raw's main broadcast did not get the complete moment. It unfolded while they were seeing commercials. That is the real creative mistake. The problem is not simply that Raw went 1 week without a women's match. Every television show has to make choices, and not every division can receive the same amount of time every Monday. The problem is timing. WWE created momentum for Lyra on Saturday and then interrupted that momentum on Monday. Viewers saw the transformation, but many of them did not see the next destination. Strong wrestling stories require a clear chain of events. A wrestler makes a major decision. The decision produces a consequence. That consequence creates a new goal. Lyra turned against Bayley. She defeated her. She declared that she no longer needed her. The natural next step was for Lyra to aim higher, potentially towards Sol Ruca and the Women's Intercontinental Championship. WWE appears to have filmed that next step. It simply did not prioritize showing it to the full audience. That difference is important because momentum in wrestling has a short shelf life. Fans were already talking about Lyra's performance, the blood from her injury, and the brutality of the finish. This was an opportunity to take viewers who were impressed by the match and immediately give them a reason to care about her next appearance. A strong Raw promo could have transformed Lyra from a wrestler who defeated Bayley into a new threat within the entire division. It also would have helped Sol Ruca. A champion needs challengers, conflict, and television time. Having Lyra interrupt Sol after defeating Bayley would instantly make Sol's championship feel connected to one of the hottest developments of the weekend. Lyra could argue that beating Bayley made her the most dangerous contender on Raw. Sol could respond that one major victory does not automatically earn a championship opportunity. That is a simple conflict, but it works. Lyra would have momentum and arrogance. Sol would have the championship and something to prove. Bayley's absence would hang over the story without requiring WWE to reveal immediately when or how she might return. There is also an important accuracy issue surrounding Lyra's statement about running Bayley out. That was storyline language. WWE has not officially confirmed that Bayley has left the company, and Lyra's claim should not be treated as proof of Bayley's real contractual future. But within the story, the line is powerful. Lyra believes she removed Bayley from her life. That gives her a reason to act more confident, more ruthless, and more entitled. It also creates a future payoff if Bayley eventually returns to confront her. The line deserved to be heard by Raw's full audience. Some viewers may argue that the commercial placement was intentional. Perhaps WWE wanted to provide extra content for the live crowd or international viewers. Perhaps the company planned to distribute the confrontation online afterward. But a social media clip is not always a substitute for live television. Raw is where WWE establishes which stories matter most. When a major character development happens outside the primary broadcast, the company risks teaching viewers that they do not need to follow every detail because the show itself may not provide the complete story. It also affects perception. WWE gave substantial television time to several men's programs on this episode. Solo Sikoa offered to align himself with Seth Rollins. Obafemi continued preparing for Brock Lesnar. The Bloodline once again controlled the main event ending. Those stories received matches, promos, or featured angles. Lyra's transformation received a commercial break confrontation. This does not mean that the men's stories should have been removed. It means WWE could have found several minutes for the most important women's development coming out of Saturday night's main event. The situation can still be repaired. The first possibility is that WWE airs the full confrontation on the next Raw and formally begins a program between Lyra and Sol Ruca. If that happens, this week's omission becomes a temporary delay rather than a permanent loss of momentum. The second possibility is that WWE keeps Lyra away from a championship program and continues building toward Bayley's eventual response. That could work, but Lyra still needs regular live television time to establish who she is without Bayley. The third possibility is the most damaging. WWE moves on without giving the victory a meaningful follow-up. If that happens, Lyra's win becomes another isolated moment, memorable when it happened, but disconnected from the stories that followed. WWE did the difficult part correctly. It gave Lyra and Bayley an emotional rivalry, allowed them to deliver a physical match, and presented Lyra as someone capable of defeating an established former champion. The mistake came afterward. WWE did not fail to create a star-making moment. It failed to distribute the next chapter of that moment to its entire audience. Lyra Valkyria should not have to rebuild momentum she earned less than 2 days earlier. The next Raw needs to show whether defeating Bayley truly changed her position, or whether WWE allowed one of its hottest new characters to disappear during a commercial break. Should WWE immediately move Lyra Valkyria into a Women's Intercontinental Championship feud with Sol Ruca?